little. Ryan Little. What's up, people? What's up, people? What's up, people? It is your boy MM2K back again with the Stadia Stream Connect podcast, man. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be here with you, of all people. And I think that we all are going to enjoy this one. Because this podcast, this YouTube video, it's going to be so sweet. Let me just connect in here. Everything can start working. All right, I'm in there. Let me see if this will work. I'm going to switch something real quick because something's acting funny. Did I download this? Let me download something real quick. Because I was still trying to, you know me, guys. I still ain't got it all together. So I'm still doing some last minute fixings for thumbnails and stuff like that. And for some reason, let me do this. Now we're coming through there, but the audio visualizer ain't coming through. Okay. Let me do. Okay, so I'm gonna tell y'all this funny story, and then we're gonna get started because there's a lot of stuff to cover. So in the mornings, my mornings are free. That's why I do a lot of content. You'll see a lot of stuff coming from me, particularly in the mornings. So one particular day, not too long ago, I'm walking down the street and walking to the coffee shop, and the coffee shop be blasting this music, right? And so a lot of times I'd be half asleep. So I'm like, oh, what in the world song is this? I'm an old school hip hop fan. I love I love 80s hip hop, early 90s hip hop. As we got into the later 90s and stuff like that, I started to stray away from it. But I'm big East Coast hip hop, as we call it. I love the KRS-Ones, Rakim, and even latter, you get into like Nas and Mobb Deep, stuff like that, and then that's where it cuts off for me, right? I love DITC, stuff like that, right? So one of the bigger groups, Tribe Called Quest and stuff. One of the big groups that I was into, like towards the latter part of 1990, going into 2000, when I really was like, nah, this is fading into something completely different. You know what I mean? Was a group called Little Brother, little known group. And they just had this awesome, well, they were good MCs, but they had this awesome producer. His name is Ninth Wonder. Well, he worked with this girl, and I've been out of touch with stuff. He's working with this girl. The girl's name is Mariba, and they made a song together a couple years ago called Black Truck. So that was the song that I was hearing as I was going to the coffee shop. And I said, whoa. And I'm listening to the chorus. And the chorus goes something like, and I'm probably butchering this. It goes something like, they said I was pressing my luck. So mad I'm going with my gut. I can't remember it off the top. So I'm like, yo, whoa. I'm running straight in the coffee shop, loud. It's, you know what I'm saying? It's quiet normally. I'm like, yo, who's that? Like, give me that track. Give me that information. I put it in my Apple Beats thing. That's how I feel as like a Stadia gamer right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, what she's saying in that chorus is, because I'm not going with the fray, I'm making different types of music. Y'all saying that I'm wasting my time. But I'm going roll. It goes, y'all. So mad that I stick with my gut. I'm gonna roll up in the black mat truck, saying that I'm still gonna be okay. We still gonna eat over here, even though I'm doing something different. And that's what I noticed with this whole gaming community. Like it's a binary choice with everything. It's either Xbox or PlayStation, nothing in between. It's either this or that, nothing in between. And you can't have a situation like what we're in now, where Stadia is trying to do something completely different and new. It's going to take some time to fully flesh out and fully roll out. You can't do something like that, because if it doesn't hit the ground running day one, then it's trash. It's a failure. There's no nuance here. There's no deep thought. You know what I'm saying? It's just a social thing altogether. No deep thought at all. So I just felt that song was so prevalent. And if you are a fan of hip hop, R&B, whatever, you know, like the older school hip hop, not the stuff now. And I'm not knocking anything that's out now. I'm just saying, you know, different strokes for different folks. If you are a fan of that genre, definitely check out the song. It's Mariba. It's called Black Truck. You know, so, and I just, man, you should have seen me. I ran to the counter like, yo, what's that? What's that? So we're going to be all right. We're going to eat healthy over here. We're going to do well. We're going to see some big things happening. And I'm going to get into all that because all it takes is for the truth to be shown just for people to understand how serious this competition can get. You know what I mean? If you follow my drift. Like, people had the luxury of just running around town talking all this crazy stuff. Yo, Stadia can't do this, Stadia can't do that. It's full of lag and all this, all just crazy stuff. Crazy stuff to where I don't know where it came from. It's so crazy. You see what I'm saying? And now they got to eat these words. So, now what am I talking about? I'm talking about the infamous video. Hey, let me do this. Give me a second. I know I'm babbling right now, but I want to tweet this out to everybody. Let me see. Let me do this. Okay, let me go back to the video. Channel videos. Can I go back to the video? I'm in here in YouTube right now. I'm live. Woo, it's so difficult. Like, YouTube don't do nothing to make things easy anymore. As if somebody's probably thinking to themselves, like, as if they ever did. Okay, so let me see. Oh. All right, so let's do this. We're going to share. And just share the Twitter. Copy this. We're going to go over here to or live. We are live right now. Come join. This will be a fun one. Whatever. YouTube, tweet. Now let me go to this last one. We're going to get there, people. My bad. My apologies. I know. Y'all sitting there saying to yourself, MM2K, when are you ever going to have this stuff ready right then and right now? I want to do one too. Here. We're getting there. We're almost there, people. Okay. We are live. And here's what I'll do too. Oh, come on. Stop. Oh my gosh. I really can't. Okay. They're giving me a hard time. As usual, wouldn't be. Are you serious? I really can't copy, select all. Oh, no. What is going on here? This is crazy. Okay. All right. Whatever. I'm going to close this out and then close all. We'll go back here. See if we can copy it here. Jeez. Yeah, that's Internet Explorer. Send it off. Retweet. Okay. I think we got everything together, just about. Put this back up so to see it, make sure that everybody can see. What's up, 706 Gamer xCloud for the win? Yeah, right. xCloud for the lag, bruh. It's not it's bad, man. I didn't want to have to do that. Oh, big up to 706 Gamer too. If it wasn't for 706 Gamer, I want the Xbox community to know, if it wasn't for 706 Gamer, I wouldn't have been able to do that footage. I used a little program called Mobzium. And you can see the logo all over the what's it called? You can see it all over the all over the footage. And I'm going to show you the footage again in a little bit. That video was made possible again because my brother 706 Gamer, who's real big on tech, he's a very good tech guy. He's my tech guy. He put me down with that program because what I was doing was I had extensively tested out all the cloud gaming platforms. I tested out NVIDIA. I tested out Shadow. I tested out xCloud, and I tested out Steam. And then I had to wait. I started all this testing well before I had got to. Come on, what is going on? Well before I had got to Google Stadia because I had to wait for Google Stadia. You know what I'm saying? But that's okay because I'm glad it was worth the wait because after actually playing it, I didn't expect it to be as good as it was. I was really expecting for add an image. I was really expecting, I'm sorry, I'm still doing my last final post to, and I can't add text. Hold on, one more thing. I don't like that. So it's like one or the other? I don't like that. I'm sorry, I'm on Reddit. All right, again, let me do that. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Now we can post it. Keep your community safe, civil. All right. They removed it. Whatever. All right. So, all right, now I'm ready. I'm sorry, I did all this babble. I was just posting the last little bit of things out there to a few people. Hopefully, now everybody knows that we live. And do me a huge favor, like tweet this out. Let everybody know that we are definitely live. So we can all have fun looking at this stuff. Cause I'm pulling up the video, right? Y'all know this. You know this, man. You know I'm pulling up the video. I am gonna do it. Not just yet. Let me first get into my little spiel. All right, everybody can hear me. That's good. Let me minimize this. Voice meter. Let me bring this over here so I can see y'all chatting it up. And then now we're ready to go. All right. So first, let's talk about it. The video. All right. We had a situation where even though, like I said, even though we had people that played Google Stadia like myself that knew the truth about the performance of the system, and that we had unsuspecting gamers that may have been a little dismayed with how it launched because they weren't in the know of some things. Like I knew everything that wasn't going to be available at launch. Most of the Stadia enthusiasts or people that were getting the Founders Editions were aware of. The only big drawback was the 4K wasn't 4K. You know what I'm saying? Which that was a problem. For me, I didn't mind it because I'm going to be honest with you. This may sound weird. I was kind of concerned about having full-fledged top-of-the-line 4K at the moment coming through my internet provider because I didn't have my gigabyte internet when I first got my Stadia Founders Edition. So I was a little concerned. I didn't know what my data caps were. I was only running off of like 50 up and 50 down. It wasn't the best internet, but it worked well with Stadia before. So when I got it and I was playing the top of the line model, I was surprised at how well it worked. Then a few days later, I ended up getting the 1 gigabyte model, and I've been fine ever since. And you guys have seen my other Destiny video on the browser. If you haven't, check out my channel. I just uploaded it because it expired on Twitch, and now we have it up here on YouTube. The fidelity, everything is great. You cannot tell that it's running from a cloud-based service from what the general population knows. So everybody pretty much knew what they were getting when they got Stadia, except for the 4K. The people that didn't know, which I understand, everybody that isn't always in the know, and that's okay. They were upset. They were dismayed. They've had a lot to say. They've been very vocal, and a lot of them canceled their pre-orders. I almost canceled my pre-order too, because way back when I found out that you needed a Pixel phone in order to play on the go, and that was going to be my main reason for Google Stadia, because I didn't know how well it worked. I said, I'm only going to use this to play certain games on the go that I'm willing to double dip on. Like when I'm out with my wife and she's spending the money and I'm at the mall, I'm willing to double dip on a game like Cyberpunk 2077 to play it on the go, because the alternatives were not suitable at that point, right? So, fast forward. Get the package. Everybody goes through the outrage or whatever. But we boot it up and we play it. And we know that this thing works. At the very least, despite all of the features not being there, despite the games, despite the price of games, or whatever else people were complaining about, we knew that it worked. Right? Right. It's fair to say that. Okay. However, we are seeing people with more resources than an MM2K, a Stadia Dosage, my homie, the Stadian, in the chat, a 706 Gamer. We're seeing people out there writing for Forbes and Verge, making big time lobster tail money, right? Saying that, even Digital Foundry, saying that, hey, this thing doesn't work. And as it relates to Digital Foundry, I have my brothers like 706 Gamer and his new sidekick Tsunami Talk. His name is Tsunami Sap, but I'm gonna start calling him Tsunami Yap. That mug will argue anything. Water ain't wet. Blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so I had them showing me footage from people like Digital Foundry that said that, oh, this performance is bad, and there's lag, and there's this and that, and it doesn't compare to Project xCloud. And I'm sitting there knowing that with the setup that I have, that I know is not as extensive as theirs, I don't have the resources that they do. I'm not writing for Your Gamer. I don't have a $6,000 per month Patreon. You know what I'm saying? That something's got to be wrong here. Because with the little bit of stuff that I got, I'm able to see something completely different. So then my plan was to record all this footage, but I didn't feel like doing it because I didn't have the proper mechanisms to record off of Android devices, phones, things of that nature. I could just do like screen captures off of Streamlabs, like I'm doing right now if it's on the PC, but besides that, I was lost in the sauce. So I bought me a camera. I actually bought me a tripod to set the camera on to watch it, to do it, and I just didn't feel like doing it because it was taking me hours and hours to get video together and all of this stuff. And then thank God for my brother. Thank God for my brother, 706 Gamer in the chat once again, who showed me Mobs-In. So I've had Mobs-In and I've had footage for a while, right? So then I said to myself, well, I want to create material. So I just started using word of mouth to get out there to push the truth. Start doing it. As we saw Tom Warren, I said, you know what? I'm not going to sit there and spend dozens of hours to create videos. You know, when the Tom Warren say their stupid stuff, I'm just going to slap them with facts. But as you'll see in my PNTS Network publication, and I write, and just as a pause to just get off track just a little bit. Another reason why, too, that I didn't want to, okay, what the hell's going on here? Another reason why, too, that I didn't feel like doing all this searching for this and searching for that. Let me go to another screen. Hope y'all can see this. Is because I participate in two networks. First and foremost, broadband bullies. It's my brothers. My brother Z brought me out of the muck. I'm a broadband bully. The site is popping. If you're not on the site, matter of fact, let me do this. Broadband bullies. If you're not on the site and you want to get general gaming news, I mean, there's a lot of great Stadia publications, Stadia Share, Stadia Source, and a whole bunch of other ones too, that I follow. But if you want like all around gaming news, then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to broadbandbullies.com. We're on top of all the news. We got 8 different contributors at least, right? 706. We got a whole bunch of people contributing to this thing. So we get when something comes across the news waves, we're there on it, giving our take and then connecting you to all the proper sources. Here's a piece that I did that was on the Broadband Bully site, and it's a great piece. But what it's actually doing is it's highlighting a blog that I made. Now Stadia Dosage here, we have our own website. It's on the PNTS Network doc. So go to pntsnetwork.com and then you'll see the Stadia Dosage website. And this is it right here. You'll get the latest Stadia Dosage content, our latest videos. You'll learn how to earn $8,000 to $10,000. And then you'll see the Stadia Dosage blog. All right. And this is it right here. Let me see. And it's part of Tumblr. Okay. I'm not doing all that. Okay. So right here, I talk about in this blog, I talk about why I made that video. I talk about what my inspiration was for making that video. And my inspiration for making that video was simply this. There was a Windows article. I'm not going to click on it. I reference it in the blog. There was a Windows article by a certain somebody. They'll remain nameless for various reasons. That's a whole nother video. You know what I'm saying? But they write for Windows Central. They're Windows friendly, and often they appear on podcasts or whatever the case may be, always echoing the, I hate Google. Google's the evil company. Arrgh! Everybody should hate Google. They're often referencing the farce of a site, Google Graveyard. Our friends at Generation Stadia have already debunked that site by giving us great content. Check them out as well. Generation Stadia showed us that Google Graveyard is just a bloviating site full of rhetoric. It's full with implementations from Google that didn't just die and go away. They converted to something else, or the ones that did die and go away, nobody used. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like they took something that everybody was using, was in tens of millions of homes, and they just got rid of it. No, the overwhelming majority of all that stuff on there is just stuff that changed brands, like Picasso changed into Google Photos and so forth and so forth. Check out Generation Stadia. Check out their channel and check out their video. And I'll leave a link to it later for more details on that. That being said, so they're boosting farce sites like Google Graveyard. They're often talking rhetoric about Google, which I'm not saying Google is the greatest company in the world. I got my issues with YouTube, but I look at it as a consumer of Microsoft and Xbox. Windows is trash right now. It's horrible. It's destroyed 3 of my PCs with these Windows updates ever since they got rid of Terry Myerson and they didn't know what path they wanted to follow. I've literally had 2 laptops and 1 desktop that it just completely destroyed because these updates were horrible. And now we go to the gaming brand where the guy that runs the gaming division told me to buy a $500 box. He assured me and others that when I bought the $500 box, specific content software for that box was key. And what is the damn thing launched with? Super Lucky's Tale and a niche racer. Like, come on. And then year after year after year, I'm being told, wait till E3. We're going to show you something great. This is going to be the best E3 ever. This, that, and the other. Then they get your hopes up about VR. One of the games that I was looking forward to playing in VR was Stormland. So I said, oh, shoot, that's coming to the X. You know, I ain't got to build up my PC for that. Wrong. Then they're sitting there saying stuff like, well, games ain't all about gunshots and headshots and all that other stuff, but they want to show Grounded and Super Lucky's Tales and that Sea of Thieves, Sea of Trash. They want to show that stuff all the time. So they're completely diverting from the Xbox that got me into the ecosystem, the Xbox that I'm paying for. Meanwhile, they keep me in a perpetual state of wait. Every time I say, but where's this stuff coming? Where's this stuff coming? Oh, hold on. Wait, hold on this next E3, that. Wait till Comic-Con. Wait till Gamescom. Wait till the next movie of Con Air. It's like it's a perpetual state of wait. So you got all those factors and more. And that's not even the tip of the iceberg. You want me to hate Google more than I loathe somebody that has impacted me financially in a major way. No. So they released this article that talks about why Google Stadia is quote unquote dead because Destiny 2 is now on Project xCloud, even though Destiny is the most abhorrent litmus to use to gauge Stadia players. Because as soon as more popular games for the masses came out, as soon as their exclusive feature came out, as soon as more games came out, and as soon as popular games that were on the system were heavily discounted, guess what happened? Everybody left. The 10,000 people that abandoned Destiny abandoned it the day all that stuff came out. But nobody talks about that. So then we had Tom Warren pushing that false agenda, and then he said a whole bunch of falsehoods, and then we forwarded that to Google and made them aware, and now he's changing his tune. Then we had Paul Tassi doing it. He had to dip his foot in the pool to get some clicks, but he made sure he covered his bases later on in the article, which was slick, but now he stopped his foolishness. Then we had some idiotic YouTuber used the Destiny litmus after Paul Tassi, and then he got shot down. And then we had IG Gaming, who's worrying about people being laid off every 5 minutes, do this clickbaity video, which I'll give it to Inside Gaming, even though they're over the top and they're ridiculous. At least some aspects of their videos were funny. This video was full cringe, and that went nowhere. That fell flat. Now we got this, like, when are people going to get into the space-time continuum and join us in the current instead of being stuck in the past? And as I allude to in my article, I got sick and tired of always just a continuous loop of seeing the falsehoods, bringing out the facts, smacking them down, watching them go silent, then rinse and repeat. I felt like I was in the sequel to 50 First Dates. You know what I'm saying? With Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore, where every time Drew Barrymore wakes up, she completely forgets what happened yesterday and she has to be retold everything about her life. I got tired of it. So what did I do? I used the great resources. Thank God I used the great resources from my brother 706 Gamer, and I dropped the video. I dropped the video on their asses. And when I dropped that video, oh man, oh man, oh man. You had some of the most comical gut reactions I've seen in this community the 2 years I've been here. It's like someone took one of those police battering rams and socked them in the solar plexus. The wind was out of them. I've even had certain people, I ain't gonna name any names, come to me after shows was aired. Oh man, boss, why you dropped that video, bruh? That was cold. That was cold, right? And I'm just sitting there laughing because even though it wasn't getting wide range attention, just the fact that it was out there for reference, I was happy to shut people up that were stewing off falsehoods. It's one thing, I'll be in my DMs with a lot of YouTubers, some that you really recognize. And when we be going back and forth, we be having fun. But what really burns me up inside is when these lies are told to the unsuspecting gamer. Like I always tell you, I just got an affinity for people that may not be in the know being misled. Why? Because I used to be that person that wasn't in the know. And I've been misled before when it came to things of this nature. And I hate being lied to. I hate being pointed in the wrong direction for the sake of someone's agenda. And I always tell y'all that these people with these blue check marks and these scores next to their name, that's not their integrity score. That's just a representation of how many people they've duped and fooled with their fancy words. But not no more. Speaking of hip hop, I referenced hip hop earlier. There's a group called Souls of Mischief. Y'all may be familiar with them. Y'all may not be. You may not be familiar with them. They came out with a song in 1993 called "Never No More." Never no more. Never will a sucker score. Never no more. And that was the mood I was in when I saw that article. I said, you know what? It's time to shut this shit up. Excuse my French. What was the stuff that was needed to be shut up? Well, let me get into it. Give me 1 second. Let me just flip right here real quick so I can pull it up for you guys. Here we go. What the hell just happened? Oh, silky now. Somebody done infiltrated. Damn it. Now it's going to do this again. Don't do this. Yep. I'll just open it up in VLC. Give me 1 second, guys. Open with. Yeah, they trying, brother. Hold on. Okay, that's video 1. And then video 2, we're going to open up in VLC. Can y'all hear that? I probably can't hear that. Did y'all hear that? Let me go to the chat real quick. So my chat says, Stadia, big ups to Stadia in the chat. He said, xCloud is laggy and trashy. Facts. I don't get, I mean, it is what it is. Phil told y'all that xCloud was, now he's backpedaled. He's told y'all, I'm gonna get more into this, that streaming to them is now just about something to do when you're away from your console. He's not talking that 2 billion gamer crap anymore. It's not our fault. That's xCloud. That's not us over here in Stadia Nation. That's that xCloud. That's that Phil Spencer talk, that back talk. Sean Livingston says, Stadia Dosage, you got to use them keyboard shortcuts for copy and paste, son. I know, man. I got to get with the time. I'm sitting there talking about these people. I need the time flex capacitor. I need to get into 2000. I'm old, man. It takes a while for the Metamucil to make its flow. The Guinness said, Microsoft has never done good things, man. Hey, look. I argued, it's funny that you say that, Guinness. I argued that in a term paper that I did when I was in college. Because I was wide-eyed and not hep. And I said, Microsoft is going to do great things. I did this like in 1998, I think it was. So I'm telling my age. And when I did the presentation of that term paper in front of my college mates, I almost got beat off the stage, bro. Even my professor gave me a bad grade. He said, and my professor was my mentor at work too. This was crazy. Big up to Sanchez. That's all I ain't gonna give out his whole government. Big up to Sanchez. So Sanchez says to me, he says, bro, you put a lot of effort in this. You wrote an excellent paper. I love this. Except you're pro Microsoft. I said, what? He said, you get an F. He said, do this paper. And bro, if this was any other situation, I'd be suing or at the board or something like that. This was my mentor too. And what he was basically trying to tell me was that even though the paper that I wrote was well, and really it was deserving of a good grade, he wanted me personally to look beyond things at the surface. And that's what I had did. My paper, even though it met the criteria for the paper, it didn't dig deep. And my mentor was big about me, looking past the surface of things and understanding things at the root. That's why he did that. And I appreciate him for that. You know what I'm saying? That being said, a lot of people feel that way, man. A lot of people feel that way. I just thought that was a funny story to share. He said, Chariot Man Gaming, what's going on, Chariot Man? Glad to have you back. The Guinness says, I have 110 and Stadia works 100% of the time. Yeah, I've never had a problem with Stadia. And Chariot Man Gaming said, all I know is it will work well. And then Stadia says they report negative stuff on Stadia for clicks. Absolutely. They are all afraid of what Stadia will potentially do to those limited console boxes. All right. So let's do this. I want to do something real quick. I want to get y'all to a specific point in this video. And y'all should be able to see it. Okay. So I'm going to get y'all a specific point in this video, and y'all let me know if y'all can hear the audio. Now let me do this. To 5-minute territory before I actually play the game. 2.5 minutes. I want you to take note of that and see how much less time it takes in Stadia. But it's okay, because like the major publications say, xCloud is the Stadia killer. All right. 5 minutes and 14 seconds. So we're going to take about 5 seconds off. Now, hopefully you guys can see the lack of fidelity here. I want y'all, I mean, even though this was recorded from my phone, mind you, and so still it doesn't do it justice, because even on the condensed pixelization, and I'm making that term up, but you guys get the drift that I'm trying to get at. When it's condensed on the phone, it looks better than this, but I want y'all to see the Stadia version shortly. This is the Xbox version. I want y'all to see the Stadia version shortly when I play that, just a comparison of that with the bloating of the pixels on a wider screen. I just want to mention that. So we'll say about 5 minutes and 9 seconds. Now, I will say that update, because this is the second update I got in one day, I will say that update made the game look a little bit prettier. It made it look a lot prettier. Oh, shoot. But as you can see, I'm swaying because, and it did improve the input lag. I can't get a good aim because of the input lag that's there. Okay. Big ups to Neethles, as you saw him come up on the screen. He got a new video coming out. All right. So it does look better, and it is performing slightly better. But so I want to say this is closer to 30 frames right now. But again, this is the bare bones Destiny in comparison to what you will soon see. And look at that. It's oh my gosh. Okay, there we go. In comparison to what you will see on Stadia. But again, this isn't a horrible experience. To say the least, it's not horrible. Okay, so I said that in reference to other Stadia games. And my brother 706 Gamer that's in the chat, he's going to remain silent. He's not going to attest to this. But the majority of the games on xCloud are not playable in a serious fashion. I mean, you could tinker around with them, but even games like their own Gears 5 game doesn't work well. And then if somebody wants to say that I'm lying, I'm gonna create another video and backslap y'all again. I will create a video where I'm playing Gears 5, and if I tap the left analog a little bit, it does a little, I like to call it the Tokyo Drift. You know what I'm saying? It's not well responsive, and it's not consistent. So this is the most consistent AAA game that I've played on xCloud. But that's saying it for xCloud. I am now going to fast forward to Stadia. Okay, now I want to go back a little bit. Go back. I want y'all to see the performance of Stadia opposed to what you just saw. They did up-res the visuals on xCloud. It did appear to be moving at faster frames, but for sake of smoothness, now look at this. Look. It looks like two totally different games. And then you'll see the difference. I don't know if the way that I'm showing it as I'm streaming it comes through well. I don't know if the sound is coming all the way. But if it is, I can do precision
Same enemy. Remember him?
Uh-oh.
I can do precision shooting now. I can just see better in general. Look at that. There's no comparison.
I think I'm looking at it on the stream. It's coming through. Just look at the water. It's coming through.
I can even do headshots now. I can hit precisely with the controller. Look at that. Look at that grassy knoll.
Now, this is the part I really want.
And mind you, you're getting this better visuals, this better fidelity. This is on this same device, better frames, with the complete edition.
Look at this part.
So when you hear falsehoods like there is no longer any reason to play Destiny on Stadia, I want you to look at what I showed you on Xbox and look at this. And then factor in, you get the complete edition on Stadia. Sit your ass down. Sorry, kids. Look at that. And you tell me what's killing what.
Oh, crap. Okay. So the video abruptly ends right there. Okay. Here's why it abruptly ended, which y'all are not aware of. It abruptly ended because when I'm using Mobzian, the mode that I had it in Mobzian, well, the settings that I had cuts it off at 11 minutes and 30 seconds or whatever. For some reason, it cut it off. But it automatically created a part 2. So this is going to be the first time that y'all see the part 2, which is just a closing, me talking about the video in general. You're getting this exclusively here. The first time I'm seeing this, you're getting my live reaction for the first time to that video here. So let me pull that. Okay. Nah, it's acting. Hold on. Come on. Stop. Oh, again, talking about Microsoft. I'm trying to use Windows Player and it won't let me. Come on, I can't back out. Trying to use Windows Player and it wouldn't let me open it up. All right, so we're gonna do this here. Go back to VLC.
Look at that precision hits.
All right. So let's go back here. And then this is going to be the first time that you see my live reaction. I want to get you guys' response and then we'll talk about it at the tail end.
Look at that precision headshots, man. I couldn't do that before. Let me stop this. This is getting embarrassing. All right. It's ridiculous. So here's the real deal, Holyfield people.
And that's proof because of how it flipped in case people are trying. I've seen some crazy stuff on Reddit and people making some crazy claims about this video. But so there's proof that y'all know that I was recording this from a phone. All that proof is right up there. All right, let me continue.
People have agendas. People also want to belong. Okay? People don't use social media, the internet in ways that are more enlightening to you. You have to be very careful to the entities that you listen to. Okay? As I always say, the blue check mark, the high number next to these people's names is not their integrity score. You've heard all this bloviating about xCloud is so far superior than Stadia in so many ways, and I just showed you otherwise. Okay? There was a reason why they weren't doing head-to-head matches, just like how I did. There was a reason why. I showed you why. So with that being said, please do not listen to the fools. Do not listen to the dummies. Do not listen to the bloviators. Be in a place of what? No. And that's it from your boy MM2K. Hope you appreciate the video. Click on the links below to get access to more. And as always, have a wonderful, wonderful gaming day. Peace.
Okay. So there you have it. That was the video displaying the most crucial parts of the comparison. And then my final closing that I wanted to upload but didn't know how. And I didn't feel like going and rendering it and using video to merge the two, because then it's compressed video going through more compressed video, and I wasn't sure if the image quality would go through, so I just said I'm gonna wait till the podcast to show that part. But let me go to the chat. Chariot Man Gaming said, man, the hate for Stadia is atrocious. Absolutely. Sean Livingston says, I'm on a 1-up gigabyte and up down, so no issues for me. Absolutely. And we're going to talk about having gigabyte up and down servers, because it's available in the UK and it's available here in the States, and you get free Stadia with it. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. And Do's X Machine said, Machado says, my professor also gave me a bad grade when I wrote a paper on Apple and how with Steve Jobs, they would come back. He said he would send me Apple is dead articles. Good. Yeah. These, see, this is what and I'm glad Does X Machado brought that up. We can't always equate truthfulness with everything that people of influence say. People have agendas, right? I have an agenda, but depending upon the person's agenda will depend upon how you want to utilize the information that they provide. My agenda is I am here to tell the truth about Stadia. I am not here to sugarcoat anything. I am not here to be doom and gloom. I'm here to tell the truth. You know what I mean? So wherever I see a falsehood about Stadia being applied, I have a counter to it. Okay? That's my whole narrative to gaming altogether. That's why you see me capping for games that people say aren't popular. It's not because I think they're the best games ever made, but I don't like this idiot herd mentality where just because something may be flawed in some areas, you got to go all the way to the left or all the way to the right in describing it. You can't describe it with some nuance, with a level of intelligence. That irritates me. Okay? Because just because you're unfavorable to something, break it down, because there might be somebody that appreciates or it's not bothered so much by the things you don't appreciate. And just equating everything to it's trash, it's garbage, or it's the God, it's the GOAT. It shows the lack of intelligence that's prevalent in our day-to-day interactions. And it's sickening. And I hate to be sounding like I'm sitting on some high horse, but this is gaming. We are, as gamers, as technical people with technical interests, we are of the smartest consumer community out there. We're a lot smarter than this, and we refuse to tap in to the decent amount of intelligence that we have, and we want to play dumb. Again, things might be missing some features, things might be heavy in some other features, but there's always some nuance, and we got to share the nuance for the sake of the unsuspecting gamer. Now, some people don't care about that. Their agenda is, I want to put X in the best light, or I want to put Y in the worst light. So not only do I got to battle the people that do X, but I got to battle the people that are addressing Y. So that's why it always seems like I'm doing this thing solo. But like I said, I roll like 300, baby. I don't care. So whether it's a big publication like Tom Warren, or a writer like Tom Warren, or a senior editor, Paul Tassi, or it's Windows Central, if you're lying, you're going to get exposed. And after dropping an article like that, what better way to expose you but to use the help of my good brother, 706 Gamer, good God, use the Mobsian that he showed me how to use, record the footage that I'm seeing with my own damn eyes, and show it to the rest of the world. Now, here's one of the biggest, the craziest things the reaction to this is insane. You have people that go out there and say, well, you know what? After all this stuff they said about Stadia, you know what? It's not that Stadia doesn't work. It's just that they don't have any games. But you sat there for several months, time after time, telling people, Stadia is trash. It's laggy. Look at this. And y'all see the meme with the little nerd pushing the space bar, that y'all were regurgitating all those falsehoods to the unsuspecting gamer. And now, like nothing ever happened, like I said, 51st dates, we're supposed to forget about all those lies that you spread. And we're just supposed to say, you know what, you're right. It's okay. Hell no. Your integrity is in the crapper. You did this to yourself. Y'all do this to yourselves. And I don't feel bad, because one of the most comical things after this, I laughed and I giggled and I tee-heed after I played this video, and I had people, Moss, man, why you do that, man? You ain't have to do it. Dang, man. Of course, we were all, everybody wanted to make sure we were off. Why, man, that was horrible, Slick. It sounded like some 70s pimp. That was horrible, Slick. You done hit them with the fat back. You damn right I did. Because, for the sake of your, it's one thing when we're joking and we're laughing. Big up to my brother J-Dubs. Everybody knows that J-Dubs will sit there and pull facts, alternative facts from his rear end, and just for the sake of an argument. We all know it's fun and games. But when you come out here and you staunchly say things like, Google is the worst entity on this face of the planet, and I hate Google, everything that they do is Google, horrible. Meanwhile, we got somebody that's deploying a Microsoft product that's destroying machines, right? And then they have other Microsoft products where they're lying to their consumer base, telling them that certain types of genres of applications or games are coming, and time after time, it's never here. It's like a 501c plan, like I say all the time. If y'all don't not familiar with a 501c plan, it's an American investment plan that you put money into for your children's college fund. So decades later, it matures and it becomes fruitful. That's what it feels like to me dealing with Xbox. They make me pay for the X to only get them $500 again for me to finally get some games in 2022. No, Jack. No. So you want me to hate Google? Meanwhile, I'm dealing with somebody that's really impacted my pockets, and I'm supposed to put them on a pedestal? How idiotic is that? So no, I don't feel sorry for them. Oh, Moss, why you do that, man? No, shut the hell up. I'm on Reddit. You should see the crazy stuff I'm seeing on Reddit. And that's the next thing I want to talk about in regards. The fallout to this video is beyond pathetic. I got Xbox not only saying, well, the problem ain't that the game can't perform and all this stuff, but they got to get some games. The games are coming. Like my brother from Generation Stadia said, big ups to him, a big Stadia channel. Check him out. Great content on the routine. I'm paraphrasing here. I'm butchering his lines, his poetic lines. So please bear with me. But in a video he laid out recently, he said, people need to stop with the silly rhetoric that Stadia is dead, that they've lost it now because they had a bad launch. This is not some startup company that after not reaching some certain litmus, they got to shut down their doors. This is the richest company in the world. This is nothing to them. All they got to do is say, all right, we've collected enough data, time to get some games, bring in the duffels, and it's a wrap, it's over. Because just like I showed you, Project xCloud can't keep up. It's the little engine that can't. And I don't know why we flock to these entities because they got blue check marks, high numbers next to their name that spit the most idiotic rhetoric. This is Google. Money talks. If a little company like Sony can sit there and sew up the generation by having second-party deals with some of the biggest games, like Destiny, Call of Duty, while they're waiting to develop their games, who said Google can't do it? Google ain't got the dough? Are y'all serious? Man, I want to know who y'all drug dealer is because they're ending your life faster than you might imagine. Y'all better get a different supply. Here's the thing. Let me go here. This is Reddit. My brother that I've talked to as of late. I didn't mean to do that. Okay, there we go. My brother who I've talk about frequently as of late, because he shocked me when he called me up not too long ago and he informed me that he got a PlayStation 4. My brother hates PlayStation. And for him to skip out on Xbox, skip out on Game Pass, skip out on the probability of investing in the ecosystem early for the Series X means a lot. He hates PlayStation. He got a PlayStation 4. He's a PC guy, big PC guy. But prior to that, when he came up here about a month ago, me and him, I was playing Ghost Recon Breakpoint. And he couldn't believe that I was playing it on a cloud-based server. He was amazed. The only thing with him is he has this internet, so he lives in a condo, and he has this internet service that comes with the condo, right? But he's cheap. My brother's cheap too. He don't want to upgrade. It's free, and it's enough for him to play his games online. You know what I'm saying? And enough for him to stream. And he don't want to upgrade his bandwidth or anything like that. So instead of he would have got Stadia. But then on top of it too, they don't really have a whole bunch of games, which, is their biggest Achilles heel. So he went with PlayStation. And I was trying to convince him why. And he said, bro, this is not the Xbox that me and you used to game with from Friday to Sunday, just drinking, blasting music, having fun playing games all day, not getting any sleep, drunk as skunks. This is not them, bro. This is something different. He said, get over it. Moss, get over it, bro. He said, little bro, he said, you never let things go. Which is true. I'm like a pit. Once I lock onto something, I'm not letting go. But he was like, bro, let it go, man. This is not the same Xbox. I was like, wow. And that was paramount for me. But he saw Stadia. He was highly impressed. He don't even believe in consoles. In cloud gaming, but my brother travels a lot. He's in North Carolina. He travels a lot from North Carolina to PA. He's going to be doing so a lot more frequently. You know what I'm saying? So, and he was interested in something like that. But at home, his internet comes with the condo. He ain't trying to upgrade. And that's for him. Different strokes for different folks. This is not a zero-sum game. It doesn't have to be for everybody. But with that being said, the reason why I brought him up is because we don't have people making those arguments. After seeing this video, they want to make me feel bad for exposing a big entity that told you this came up with this bogus rhetoric. Like, that's really their stick. And I've seen some ridiculous stuff on Reddit that I'm not even going to show you. But I want to show you guys one particular conversation that I've had on Reddit, but I just let it go, and I let it go respectfully. It was worth engaging, but what it showed me is that you have a lot of people that have a lot to say about this on Reddit, in the Stadia Reddit, that don't know nothing about Stadia and don't know nothing about xCloud in general. So how are you contrasting the experience to me when you don't even have personal experience? There we go. Following the other person's emotions that you feel connected to instead of doing due diligence, which further spreads lies and falsehoods to the unsuspecting gamer. I'm not having it. So here's how the discussion went. And big ups to this person because, again, it was respectful, even though it dropped my jaw, just some of the things that they were saying. So they start off saying, if you check the ping times between GCP and Azure, you'll find that there's nothing in it. Microsoft actually has more data centers in my country too. From testing there is nothing between the latency of the two. Yes, xCloud is a lower resolution, but it's only on mobile currently and it's still in beta. A better time to compare is when xCloud is out of beta and on PC. Stadia is delivery tech, good, but the issue is that there's not much to play on it and the platform is still lacking features. Okay, so here's how I responded to that. I said, I get your point, but three things. One, the point of the compare was not to flame xCloud. It was to debunk the myths that it performed leagues ahead of Stadia. Video shows it. It's not even a contest. Really, I should have ended my conversation there. But I did tag this as discussion, so I entertained them. Two, I'm not fond of the beta excuse. GeForce Now is a beta. Shadowblade has beta models. Both also perform leagues ahead of xCloud. 3. xCloud will be in beta for years, as told by Microsoft during XO19 post interviews. The video was mainly for the unsuspecting public, not aware of the lies against Stadia that are told for easy clicks. They deserve to know the truth. Truth is, while Stadia, NVIDIA, and Shadow are providing top-notch fidelity and performance via the cloud, Xbox is simply providing a means to access games on the go. Whether all playable or not, this for them is just to supplement their main Daddy device experience. This was said by Phil Spencer himself when he said cloud gaming is just for playing games when you're not at your console. So, here's my thing. I don't know why people have such staunch opinions as if they can provide information. I mean, this guy went in detail, and as you can see, my string with him, and I'll drop a link to it. I'll do it right here in case y'all want to see it. Because it'll take up the whole podcast if I go over all this. A very interesting thread, but people want to relay so much bloviating, aka if you don't know what bloviating means, because I use it a lot, but it describes so much of what's going on in the game. Talking in empty terms, saying a lot, but not really getting to the context of the discussion at hand. That's bloviating. A lot of people want to just fill up words and talk about subject matters that have nothing meaningful or fruitful to the subject matter at hand. You went and talked about Azure servers, Bibblewatts, and gigahertz. All I'm trying to do is show the people that when people say that xCloud performs better than Stadia, they're lying to you. That's all. That's all. I don't care about the pings at servers. I don't care about that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Secondly, stop using the beta thing as an excuse. NVIDIA GeForce is in beta. Shadowblade is in beta. Neither one of those companies has as much money in a war chest as Xbox does, particularly Shadow. And Shadow is leagues ahead of xCloud. You saw it with your own eyes. And 3. Don't sit there and make it seem like that tomorrow xCloud is going to be coming around the corner. It's full of Xbox One S server blades. They're going from 1S to 1X, then Scarlet. It's a multi-year project. They're going to be giving you free games that maybe one will work, maybe the next one won't. It'll be in that state for years. Somebody that is serious about gaming, that wants to game on the go. Look, I gave this example before. I'm going to give it one more time before I move on. I have a friend that worked at IT, the company I've been at for 20 plus years, right? He was an IT person. We had a big IT mashup a couple years ago where I literally stayed the night at work to work with some Microsoft devs on some database issues, and he was there with me. So we ended up becoming good friends over the process, and I found out that he was a gamer. So that made it even more. So he traveled a lot. They would have him travel. He loved Rift, the dinosaur game, the Rise of Rift, or whatever the hell that is. Ark. I don't know where the hell I got. He loves Ark. But he was not allowed to bring his own proprietary software or computer with him when he traveled because of the fear of sensitive data. But he wasn't allowed to. That's how sensitive was the stuff that he was dealing with. Government entities, other things. And that's all I can say. I probably said too much right there, but I'm not saying anything else. So he was not allowed to bring his own hardware. So what he would do is And then the laptop they would give him to operate from just to keep wasn't powerful enough. He could have played games on there. They let him use it for personal use. He could have played games on there, but it wasn't powerful enough for him to play Ark the way that he wanted to. So what he would do is, as he would travel, he would go to a Best Buy, buy a desktop, play Ark, return it before he traveled to the next city. Imagine if he was able to get into cloud gaming and was able to get good fidelity with Ark that he was used to on his dedicated device. And it was consistent and it worked with everything. That would be ideal for him. And then, you know what I'm saying? When he got home, if he wanted to do the dedicated device thing, which all around will give you the best fidelity as it is now, no doubt about it. Or he could just say to hell with it. I got great internet here. Why? You know, I'm happy with this. That's what NVIDIA, but NVIDIA offers the daddy device thing. So does Shadow. They complement a dedicated device. Stadia doesn't, but that's really not a big problem because they don't, they give you access to the games at a low entry point. I say all that to say this. Whether it's full cloud streaming or it's a supplement to dedicated devices, those three applications take cloud gaming seriously, even in beta form. They are very reliable on the go. They use a multitude of devices and they use them well. Even Google Stadia, when you sideload it on Android devices that it quote unquote doesn't support, and there's 1,000 ways to do it, check Reddit, it works better than xCloud. And I do not think that this is acceptable from Xbox, who next to Google Stadia is the second richest company in the world when you look at their parent company. Microsoft is the second richest company in the world. They battle back and forth with Google for the number one spot. So with that being said, I don't think that's acceptable. And we've saw a level of mediocrity with Xbox all generation. Well, Xbox had to, you know what I'm saying? That Terry Myerson took the money and bought a whole bunch of banana pudding and they couldn't get exclusives. Meanwhile, Sony, last generation, they were selling lampshades and the old stale sushi in the back of the refrigerator to keep afloat, and they hit you with game after game after game. Now we're here with Google Stadia. Well, you got to give it time because the Azure service and the ping rate and the bibble watts, and you know, in my country it's this and that. Meanwhile, NVIDIA, GeForce, and Shadowblade, which is pretty much a startup company, they nowhere have the access to the war chest, particularly Shadowblade, that Microsoft has. And they're running circles around xCloud. So here's my ultimate problem, because y'all may be thinking, and I get this a lot in my comments, why are you so hard on Microsoft and Xbox? Because I expect better from them. Xbox in particular, they don't respect inherent competition. Phil Spencer said it in the Fortune 500 magazine, and that mind state has to go. What Microsoft wants to do is one or two things. They want to play hopscotch with you like what they're doing with PlayStation. We don't see PlayStation as competition, as PlayStation is stepping on their neck every 5 minutes. Or they want to lie to the top. Well, you know, cloud gaming in general is only good when you're away from your console. No, for you it's only good away from your console. Just 5 minutes ago, you was trying to use xCloud and cloud gaming as a means for you to reach the 2 billion gamers along with PC. What happened to that? So they either want to befriend you or they want to lie about you. They don't want to pull up their sleeves and do the hard work and just outperform you. And I don't know where the hell this Xbox came from. But for those of you that are praising Phil Spencer, think about that. No inherent competition. And then he even lied about that. Because he'll sit there and say, you know, no, I ain't got to beat another company down in order for another company to look good. But every time he'll sit there and he'll get a sly smirk and he'll say, oh, well, you know what? People may think that I'm trying to be mean about this, but, you know, our solution to cloud gaming is we still have dedicated devices. We don't force you into doing cloud gaming. That's a dig at Google. And yes, Google is a full cloud gaming platform. I'm not mad at you at making that comment. I'm not mad at all. Don't get me wrong. This ain't me mad. This is just how I talk. Like Samuel L. Jackson. Did you see my movies, Deep Blue Sea? This is just how I talk. Anyway, what I'm saying is I don't appreciate the lie and the deception. And again, somebody that has more impact on me personally, on gamers personally, with all their lies and deceptions, opposed to somebody that may have killed a couple of apps, or may have done, or YouTube ain't the greatest, I will admit that. That has less impact than someone that is telling me once again after they didn't make my $500 come to fruition like they promised the first time, telling me to trust me, invest another $500 into me. And now on top of that, wanting to either play hopscotch with you or lie about you, you know what I'm saying, opposed to just rolling up your sleeves and doing the hard work and just outperforming you. Now they got their goons, like the publication that wants you to believe that Destiny 2 is to tell all be all to whether if people should engage in Stadia. That's false. People are right now, even though there's a lack of games, people are interested in the tech, right? Or they want to do 4K gaming at a low entry point. A lot of these people don't have Xbox One X's. Xbox One X's are the lowest saturation of consoles out there. There are more PlayStation 4s, Xbox One S's, Xbox One Fats, PlayStation Originals, and even Nintendo Switches, and even PlayStation 4 Pros out there than there are Xbox One X's. So, for the vast majority of consoles out there, Google Stadia performs better than them, even looks better than them, for only $130. So if I wanted to get into 4K gaming, and I don't have a lot of money to do it, and I have access to great internet, or even pretty good internet, Google Stadia might be my way to go. So just because Destiny 2 is also available on XLAG, that has nothing to do with those other factors. That's just the truth, regardless of your own personal bias. Now, if we're going to sit there and argue, well, okay, there might be those type of gamers, but the gamers that would prefer the dedicated device over those type of gamers right now are on the side of the dedicated device, I would throw my hands up and be like, you know what? You win. You're absolutely right. It's up to Google to show why their method is the better method. But we ain't got to lie to kick it. We ain't got to lie and bring up falsehoods like Destiny. That's not Destiny 2. Everybody doesn't like Destiny 2. It doesn't have broad appeal. It has a great big following, but it doesn't have broad appeal. As soon as people got access to more popular games broadly, newer games, more recent games came out, guess what they did? The very same day they came out, the very same week, they abandoned Destiny. That's all it was. But let's play devil's advocate before I move on. Let's play devil's advocate. Let's say if Destiny 2 was the tell-all be-all. Do y'all want the Destiny 2 that I showed you on Xfog? Or do you want the Destiny 2 that's clear and crisp, 60 frames per second that I showed you on the Cloud King Stadia? Let me know in the chat. Speaking of that, let me go to my chat. Let me extend this a little bit so I can see what y'all got to say. Hold on. Can I pop this out? I want to pop out the chat. Hold on. They're going to let me do it. Oh, man. Nope. Or maybe what I can do is I can do one of these numbers. Picture in picture. Why would I want to do a picture in picture? Oh, there we go. Hold on. Pop chat out. There we go. So really, I don't even need this. Okay, so the chat is right there. Now I got y'all here. Now I can see what y'all saying better. All right. So we got my homie Hip Hop Hobby Club. He says Stadia is just like Tesla, still in progress. He says, I know how Wi-Fi it works. You know Stadia works. Deus Ex Macchiato says, with Ghost Recon being the first game showing off the new Stadia feature like Kinect, I think Doom Eternal will be the first to show more parity with PC visuals. At least I hope. Absolutely. Yep. So they got to take advantage of Doom. Being that Cyberpunk 2077 got pushed back, I think they got to take advantage of Doom some way, somehow. You know what I'm saying? Because they need to be able to show off. They need to be able to show off a new feature somehow. You know what I mean? And no better way. What I was proposing, though, is that what they do is they get. Let me pop this back out. What I was proposing is what they do is they get when Cyberpunk 2077, they either see if they can discount it in the store, which there's a lot of issues with discounting things in the store. It gives off bad perception or lessens the value to gamers in the minds of publishers. So if they couldn't per se have it just show $30 in the store, they give you $30 back in Google Play points. That's what I think they should do. You know what I'm saying? But then it got pushed back. But we'll talk about Cyberpunk 2077 in a second. So with that being said, it definitely is. It's refreshing and it felt good. I'm gonna be honest with you. It felt good for me to be able to do that, y'all. It felt good for me to be able to pull that up, do the compare, put it out there, put it on Reddit to the ire of all the Stadia haters. Like, check out that thread. It's riddled with Stadia haters, and when you interact with them, you can tell that they either don't have Stadia, they don't have xCloud, but they're capping for xCloud and they're hating on Stadia. I don't get it. So this is what I urge. I don't know if my buddies Stadia, I know they got like Discords and stuff like that, but again, I made this plea a couple of podcasts ago. We got to control the airwaves. We got to start telling the truth. Now, I know that I may do a little bit more risky more content here where I call names. I rub people's face in the dirt. I do that. That's me. I'm not saying you guys got to do that. But what I'm saying is we got to understand that we got to take back the airwaves to some degree. We're outnumbered right now. The fact of the matter is that we are a small group. There's likely anywhere between 300 to 500,000 of us, right? And that's okay because, like the CEO of Tequila Works said, it was never Google Stadia's intent for this to be some blooming massive system at launch. I think they didn't reach their intended numbers. But this wasn't supposed to be like 2-3 million sold like an Xbox or PlayStation at launch. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Those are established platforms. It's kind of like the OG Xbox. How many did those sell? We're in those numbers. How many did those sell at launch? You know what I'm saying? We're maybe 100,000 or whatever. Who knows? I could be wrong. But with that being said, what we got to understand is that, like the Tequila Works CEO said, Google wants to get data. They labeled this a launch because they wanted people to buy it because they didn't order to get this data. They didn't want to have to give out $130 or really $150 worth of hardware in order to do it. So they wanted people to buy it, and they knew that it was going to be enthusiasts, people that are interested in the tech that will want to do this. That being said, the negative press, the bad AMA kind of hurt that effort a little bit. And what's kind of keeping the damper on it is the lack of games. Once they get more games, which again, I just illustrated earlier, this is Google. If PlayStation that was selling lampshades and the old sushi in the back of the refrigerator, if they can, at the end of the generation when they lost $50 billion, if they can lock down secondhand exclusive, you trying to tell me the richest company in the world can't do it? Like, are we serious? Like, is the crack in your marijuana that strong? I hope no kids are listening. But I'm just saying, seriously, is that bad? Are you huffing that much paint thinner? Seriously, jeez. Bang House Protection. What's up, y'all? Stadia says, I tell the truth. That's why I live stream on Facebook. I'm raising Stadia awareness. Hey, Stadia, let's do this. Because I do this with everybody that I know has a platform. You are now a moderator. Drop a link to your Facebook channel in the chat, and I want everybody to follow Stadia, okay? This is a growing platform. We need to take over the airwaves. We need to expose the truth to these lies. And this is not a crab in a barrel approach to me. I love all the Stadia entities out there. Stadia shares or Share Stadia, Stadia Source, Generation Stadia, or Stadia Source and all of their affiliates. You know what I'm saying? Stadia Arcadia, all of them that are out there. And anybody that I know that is trying to show the truth of Stadia, I'll make you a mod. You become an automatic mod. Definitely drop a link in your chat. But what I'm saying to people is that we got to be able to combat falsehoods. You ain't got to call out names, and you ain't got to call people pathetic like I do, but at least show the lie and contrast it with the truth. Like you guys could do the same thing. It's the application is called MobZN. Look it up on Android. It's called MobZN, MOBZIEN. Download it and install it. Toggle in run the auto wizard. The auto wizard will catch the right frames and stuff. The frames and the capture rate and all that stuff that is good for your phone. Bada boom, bada bing. Upload it at will when people are lying to you. The next thing that I'm going to do, but if somebody wants to beat me to the punch, that's okay. Let me know and I'll post your efforts on this platform. What I was going to do was show Project xCloud's version of Shadow the Tomb Raider versus Stadia's. And what I'm going to do as well is show Stadia's version of Borderlands 3 and compare it to Xbox version Borderlands 3. This is why I say you can't trust these entities. Digital Foundry went on this tangent about how Stadia's tessellation might be better than Xbox's, but the fidelity and the texture packs and all this stuff. And then they admitted, well, we don't even know how to grade what Stadia is doing. We need better ways to do it, but still want to go dog it, right? But then they cut Xbox some slack in the Hellblade 2 video where they said the same thing, but they said it was fantastic. Get out of here. Anyway, with that being said, with all the dirt that they kicked in the face of Stadia for the sake of Xbox, with all the lies that they told about how xCloud performed for the sake of Xbox. You know what I'm saying? When they were playing, I forgot what game they was playing. They made it seem like that the latency and everything was fantastic. When you got, let's take Stadia out the picture. NVIDIA GeForce and Shadowblade makes xCloud kick rocks. I find it curious that with all that, you have right now, as far as performance, the definitive version of Borderlands 3 on Stadia, because their performance mode is actually a 1080p 60, where the performance mode on the most powerful console is a 1080p, maybe 23 frames or maybe 20. The PlayStation 4 Pro is doing better than the most powerful console. But they don't, how come we haven't seen it compare Borderlands 3 on Stadia, huh? So I challenged it, so that's going to be my next video when I do the compare. Digital Foundry already got some hurting from my boy King Thrash, and I know a lot of people may be like, oh, King Thrash is a jagged pill to swallow, but no, what he did, I appreciate what he did, because even though I didn't agree with the reasoning for his contrast, what his contrast actually did was help expose the agendas of Digital Foundry. So y'all can't trust these big entities. And also, even though gaming can be expensive, Project xCloud is free. Sign up for the goddamn beta. My friends at Stadia Cast are giving out buddy passes every damn day. Sign up to them on Twitter. Sign up to them on YouTube. You could get into there are very low entry points for you to get in and see the stuff firsthand. You ain't got to take my word for it. Stop following the bloviators. Get your mouth off the teat of another man's emotions. Be in the know and know the truth. So with that said, let me go to my chat real quick before we move on. He says, I am true for Google Stadia. Hip Hobby Club. Hey, Hip Hobby Club, you get a channel, let me know, and I'll make you a mod. Charles Array says, I guess you could say I'm not a content creator. I guess I'd be a Stadia personality. If you do social media and you show the truth of Stadia, let me know. I'll make you a mod. My Charles, you're a mod anyway because you're here all the time. So there you go. You're there. There is no big egos here, y'all. I'm here to service y'all. Let me say this real quick. Besides my mentor, even though he gave me that F on that paper, and I'm just reflecting on that now, I'm like, wow, I'm just, that story, this is all off the cuff. I don't really plan for all this stuff. I know my main subjects that I want to cover, and then I just go. You know what I'm saying? Even my videos, I don't sit there and write them out. They're just all one take. They call me One Take Moss, right? And you could tell because I'm stumbling and mumbling everywhere. With that being said, that was from the heart, reflecting back on my mentor like that. He instilled in me and digging deeper, man. And you take that and combine it into fact. Years ago, when I was living with my brother, and we had multiple consoles. That was our thing. We took the power of all. We was making good money, me and him. He was a VP at an internet company. I was doing what I was doing, and I was managing managers at the time, working on a major database for our area, right? So we were good. We were good. Made good money, living it up the drunken bachelor life, right? Without a care in the world. So we had two of everything. We had 2 PlayStations. We had 2 Xboxes. We had 2 Nintendos. And we had a banging ass computer that he primarily stayed on. He controlled that, right? And we played everything. All right. And one of the things that my brother showed me is he said, why are you playing on that TV? And I said, what was wrong? He said, he said, there's something called a VGA connector that'll connect your console to a monitor, CRT monitors only at the time. We didn't have a flat screen. This was a long time ago, y'all. So I said, whatever, man. I said, whatever, bro. I'm not listening. He said, bro, check it out. He helped me order it online. This is way back in the day, so it took like a couple weeks for it to come. And when it came, I hooked up my OG Xbox at the time to the CRT monitor, and I couldn't believe the fidelity. I was like, oh my God, I'll never play. And since then, I did not play on a TV ever again. I've always had to play on a monitor, and I would use whatever was there. So fast forward, whatever time, my VGA cord got busted. And I said, I can't wait a few more weeks to get another one. So I went to Best Buy. And I hate going to Best Buy, but this was the introduction of their quote unquote Geek Squad. So I said, oh, they got a group called the Geek Squad. These got to be people in the know. They're going to be able to help me get a VGA cord faster than a couple of weeks. So I go to them. I explain to them the part that I'm looking for. And they told me that it didn't exist. I said, what? It's like, no, nothing like that. You can't play games. And they were sitting there laughing. I said, go get your manager. Manager came out. He was chuckle huckling too. This was a place of ignorance. But you guys were called the Geek Squad. They forced me to go home, pull out the VGA cord. I came back. I should have been arrested this day. I came back and I chucked it at him. And I said, you dumb blinkety blank, 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 blank. I said, you guys are called the Geek Squad. And you don't even know that this exists? How pathetic are you? And then it just hit me. That Best Buy was just simply using words and phrases that they knew were effective mentally on the unsuspecting public consumer to just drain you, drive more money. And ever since then, I became more of an advocate for the unsuspecting people. So as my brother started teaching me stuff and I started understanding tech a little bit more, I started going into Best Buy, just, for whatever reasons, going into GameStops, listening to these people tell mistruths, and I'll be quick to butt in your conversation in a minute. They can't stand me at these stores. I do it all the time. I just did it at GameStop not too long ago. And because these people babble about stuff, you get paid to do this, and you don't know what you're talking about, and that irks me. Because I reflect back to that moment when they were sitting there laughing like this thing didn't, and all I'm trying to do was continue my game. I'm trying to go back to the crib, get some more drinks in me, and continue my gaming. I ain't got time for this foolishness. And I have a low tolerance to red tape like that. So when I see things like this Windows article and people speaking mistruths online, it just flares up something in me. And I don't mind it. Yeah, I latch onto it and I go hard, but I don't care because I'm doing it for the sake of you. Because I don't want y'all to go through what I had to go through. I have that much care for you, even though I've never seen your faces, and I may never will. But that's how much concern that we have on this platform. I don't want y'all to go through that. It's a horrible thing. Horrible thing to be misinformed and for you to lose money for the sake of it. Repulsive. But with that said, let me go to my chat and then we're going to move on. Charles Aran said, I'm always on Twitter, Discord, Facebook, Reddit, spreading the good word of Stadia. Great. Hippity Hop said, he said, I'm on MySpace. He's having the new update for ICQ. Say Cloud Posse. And Stadian says, I got 1080p 60 vid of grid running on my Stadia YouTube channel. You guys should check it out. It's crispy smooth, definitely. And hopefully you drop, he dropped the dropping links. Make sure you drop links, okay? All right, that's it. Let's move on, guys. Let's move on. Oh, whoops. We don't want to move on that fast. All right, so the next subject matter I want to talk about is this Verizon BT deal. Now we're talking, okay, so admittingly, Stadia is lacking access in games. They're lacking access because people they're not familiar with the stability of their internet to be able to run this. So we got to spread the word on that. But then they got to feel that but what it is people don't want to say, well, you know what? I got 50 up. That might work. So I'm going to switch to this platform. And then come to find out they're gaming deep in the Borderlands 3 and come to find out their internet gets throttled. You know what I'm saying? Like that was a concern of mine. So people want to be able to know that they don't want to walk the tightrope. They want to know that they got enough internet and some to cover all their bases with Stadia and everything that they're doing. And I don't blame them because I did the exact same thing. When I saw how well Stadia performed, I said, this is awesome, but I can't commit to this thing on my 50 up and 50 down. So then what I ended up being blessed to be able to come across was Verizon was running a deal in my area for $75. I got the gigabyte package. Now, mind you, it didn't come with Stadia and it didn't come with, the unit and all that other stuff and all these other perks. And then with this new deal that Verizon is giving you, you get their Wi-Fi 6 router. I had to go buy my own separate Wi-Fi 6 router for when Wi-Fi 6 becomes prevalent in devices, right? They're including all that in there for $80. Now, I know my people that are in other locales, they're like, that's ridiculous, but stateside, that's phenomenal. So Google struck a deal with first BT to offer something like that with their 1 gigabyte service. You get free access to the Founders Edition, no, not the Premier, and 3 free months of Google Stadia Pro. Excuse me. And then a few days later, they announced the same deal with Verizon. And Verizon's on an uptick because they just made that deal with Disney Plus. So there's a lot of people, if they're upgrading to that gigabyte service, this is going to do them hella well. And so I want to say that is a great power move by Verizon in order to do that. And Verizon supposedly released a video. Let me see if I can find it, because I didn't see it yet. And then we'll watch it together and then I'll give a reaction to it. Verizon No, you know what? I'm going to Stadia Source. Is anybody from Stadia Source in here listening right now? Because if so, I want to see that video. Y'all can provide a link to the community Destiny Strike. Oh, here it goes right here. Cool. Here we go. All right, so we're on. Let me do this. Thank you, Stadium. Check out please copy that link to his video. And then Stadium, what I want you to do too, bro, because you're a mod, is even after the show, go into the comment. That's a good thing to note. Everybody, go into the comment section. Well, Hip Hop Hobby Club, I want you to come back. So I'm going to make you a mod too. Post everything. This is a platform for growth for Stadia. What I want y'all to do is, even after this live stream, in the comment section, post the links to your prevalent videos. Do it all the time. Even if y'all see a video of mine and you're like, oh, great video, whatever, or crappy video, but here goes the link to my my Stadia. Let's do it, y'all. Let's do it. And also follow Stadia Dosage on Facebook. Look for Stadia Dosage on Facebook. Look for the Stadia Dosage page. I got to get rid of the Facebook channel. But look for the Stadia Dosage page. And then follow us there and post there too, man. All right, so let's watch this video. This will be my first time watching it. This is Verizon's announcement that they're working with Google Stadia. So let's check it out via our friends at Stadia Source.
What are we doing in the parking garage? It's really cold out here.
It's not that cold. It's not like we're tucked away in the Swiss Alps or something. Nestled along the beautiful backdrop of Davos, Switzerland, Hans sat down with our team's Lauren Tilstra to talk about Verizon's role at the World Economic Forum.
Joining Hans in Davos, members of our VLC and our Yahoo Finance team covering the latest from the forum's 50th annual meeting. And yes, Hans is keeping our purpose top of mind.
We're here to see that we are talking about what is important to us. I think everything from sustainability, climate, 5G, the fourth industrial revolution, those things that really we are impacting. There's so many challenges. I think that technology and what we are doing every day in Verizon with all the V-teamers is so important, and we want to be part of that conversation. We're probably going to learn, get new partners that we can bring home to the team, and how we continue to work with them.
Speaking of partners, we've got a great new partnership to share with you.
Hey Jess, waxing up your Audi nice and new, putting on the second coat now.
That is not my Audi. Verizon and Audi are partnering to bring connectivity to the road. Beginning with the 2020 Audi A4 and A5 models, customers will now have the option of receiving a Verizon unlimited data connection powered by Verizon's 4G LTE network to deliver advanced connectivity and embedded in-vehicle Wi-Fi.
And for even more partnership news, let's check in now with George. He's got something our gamer customers will love.
Starting January 29th, new Fios Gigabit customers get a free Google Stadia. That's Google's amazing new cloud gaming platform that gives you a Chromecast Ultra, 3 months of access to their gaming service, and this awesome controller. What's amazing about cloud gaming and Stadia in particular is that you don't need consoles or all that expensive hardware. You can play on any TV you own, get 4K games like Tomb Raider, like Red Dead Redemption 2, and my favorite Destiny 2. If you have a Pixel, you can cast that game by connecting your USB right to your phone. Down the line, we're gonna have some great new 5G home news involving Stadia. Stay tuned for that. Right now, this will be available January 29th.
Thanks, George. I can't wait to play those Tomb Raider games.
Take it easy, Lara Croft. Those ancient tombs aren't going anywhere.
Don't you have some cars to wax?
Exactly. Until next time, you're up to speed.
Bro's kind of cheesy. Okay, so let's do this, y'all. Let's get out of there. Okay. Nice announcement. You know, I'm going to do this. I'm going to give credit to my homies at Stadia Source. That's the link to the video in the story. And if you're not part of Stadia Source, let me say this. Again, Stadia Source is fantastic. What you're going to want to do is go to Stadia Source and you can integrate your profile, your Stadia profile on Stadia Source. Is a real cool feature that gives you updates on games. ShareStadia.com too does the exact same, well, not the exact same thing. ShareStadia is good. They got a lot of good content. And we actually have worked with Share Stadia to give you the ticker. It's my fault on the end. I got to contact them to try to get it working again and see if they got any other ways that I can utilize their ticker and put it in text form. But Share Stadia provides us our ticker. So definitely check out those two sites for a lot of Stadia news as well. All right, so let's do this. So yeah, it's a great idea to do that. It knocks down one of the walls that Stadia has, which is access. And I think that everybody should definitely see here. I want to do something. I think everybody should definitely check them out. I'm looking at something real quick. Okay. There we go. Oh, so I think everybody should check them out and get the latest Stadia news from them. All right. That being said, let's move on. Next thing is, let me go to the chat. He says, exchange the audio for triple XL AKTV for my Stadia. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that because I'm glad you brought that up. It's a perfect segue perfect segue for my next thing that I want. The next thing I want to talk about here. Oh, I see. Oh, shoot. Let me see here. So E3. The big question about E3 is, should Google Stadia be at E3? I don't mind them having a presence there personally at E3. But if they're going to have a presence at E3, I think what they need to do is they need to I don't mind them having a presence, but as far as them having a show there, I don't know about that. Here's why. This is why I'm having difficulty. I want to make sure I say this right for the appropriate impact. Google, as far as I'm concerned, they need to convince people why they should leave their current ecosystem to go to Google. All right. And in order to do that, you got to either have games, which they don't have. They don't have enough right now. Excuse me, let's be frank. Even though the games they do have play great, they perform better than us on console, they don't have a big enough influx of variations of games. They don't have the games right now to do that. Also, they don't have an alluring price model. Now, don't get me wrong. I just spoke earlier about an entry point from leaving the X going into, or the entry point of doing 4K gaming steadily is a lot cheaper with Stadia. But right now, if you ain't upgraded to 4K gaming right now, you're not going to do it for a system with less games and for a system that's giving you games at the right price. I mean, at the same price. You might as well stay where you're at. That's the mind state of a lot of people. So something's got to give in one of those two fronts in order for there to be at least a plethora of gamers that are going to come over, right? Just being honest here. I can't knock the performance, but they haven't yet. And again, I reckon back to what I said that the CEO of Tequila Works had mentioned in that article with GameIndustry.biz. Google's okay with that right now. It appears that there's some things that they want to put in place before they even open the floodgates at that level. So they're okay with that. They're very sustainable. They're the richest company in the world, for crying out loud. And they're collecting a lot of data from us that are playing. And like I said, there's anywhere between 300 to 500,000 of us, I surmise, right? Possibly more, that are playing Google Stadia. That being said, you don't go and have a stage presence, not just a regular presence, but you don't go and have a stage presence at E3 if you're a startup gaming unit unless you can present at least one of those two things. Games that are going to allure people no matter where they're being played. Cloud gaming, dedicated device, Etch-a-Sketch. You got to have the games. And two, you got to convince, when you're a new gaming platform, you got to have some type of pricing or something available as far as your pricing model that brings people over. You're giving a discount or a benefit of something, right? That'll bring people over. I'm going to give you a prime example of one of the two. Xbox. The original Xbox games were the same price on there, but they gave you games that you couldn't get elsewhere that were alluring. Okay? So there you go. Here's what you got to have if you want to have a stage presence there. Okay? So, unless they have one of those two compelling factors, I think it's cool for them to be at E3 to help combat the lies and have people play it. But I don't know how much worth it's going to be to have a presence, and particularly to have stage presence, unless you have one of those two things in your back pocket. And one of those two things have to be enacted within 2 to 4 weeks of your presentation. So if you go to E3, which is normally aired at the beginning of June, by July 1st, you better have some big time games, a couple of them coming to the system that's making everybody's jaws drop. Or you better have enacted a pricing model that's a lot more alluring than what's available, with a couple of your competitors, or that's at least competitive, period. Here goes some possible ideas though, y'all, for such implementation. You got to showcase some games, right? Of course, you got to do that. But there was this idea. Let me flip back here. This is runjumpstomp.com, and this is the host site of Stadia Cast. And in a particular Stadia Cast, I won't play it. Oh crap. Won't let me increase it. I won't play it because I don't want to get a copyright strike, but in the episode 41 of Stadia Cast, as you see right here, they had talked about, I believe it was 41. It was 41 or 40 in the after show. They had talked about an idea that was being floated on the internet where someone was like, why don't Stadia flip E3 on its head? They could go there, show a bunch of new games that are alluring to people, and then do something like what's being done at BlizzCon, from what I understand. Again, I could be butchering this. Let me know if I got this right in the chat. But from what I understand, at BlizzCon, what they do is, for people that are not at BlizzCon, you can buy an interactive package via Twitch for $25, $30 that allows you to play, or allows you certain access to certain videos and allows you to play certain games. And with the falling interest in E3 as it comes to their partners, Google can come in and save the day implementing a new format, a new interactive format. For those of us that are gamers that can't make it out there, they can't travel for work or whatever reasons, we drop $30, $40, $50 and we get access to demos, to games, because you could play Google Stadia on your browser. That's the beauty of it. So for that $20, $30, you get to interact. You could probably do some sit-ins, you know what I mean? Do like conference calls, with people on the that are doing live sit-ins. You could do conference calls with them, like kind of like interactive showroom floor stuff. And it reminds me of the Borderlands 3 reveal, where Borderlands brought in all of those content creators and what is it, influencers, to play Borderlands 3. And then if you went on Twitch, the main Borderlands 3 Twitch channel, while this was all going, they were bouncing around to different people's gameplay and bouncing around to them playing and stuff. Google could do something like that. They could change the game for E3. So I think that if they are going to be there, if you're going to have a stage presence, fine. You got to have one of those two things. You got to have a pricing model, more alluring pricing model, or you got to have games. But if you just want to be there at E3, you can change the whole game. You can give people access to playing their favorite games, their Red Deads or whatever, for 24, 48 hours, for the whole week at E3 for a $30 E3 pass. You know what I'm saying? And then for those of us that do have Stadia Pro, it should be like $10, $15, $20 maybe at the most. We should get a discount. And then that would make E3 so more impactful. Maybe a portion of that goes to the ESA. So maybe this becomes more digital, where gamers can interact, play their favorite games. This becomes more of a bigger model that hits worldwide, has wide-reaching implications with other providers. They start showing up at E3 and they start doing this interactive stuff. And then ESA still benefits somehow. Stadia can change the game and can revive E3. You know what I'm saying? Let me go to the chat before I go to my other ideas. Charles Rance is cool, but I bought the game with DLC and I'm looking forward for a car. Okay, they're talking about Grid. And Hip Hop Hobby Club says E3 no, Google Stadia Underground. If you like Stadia, you look for it. Knowledge is power. And Stadia says Stadia will be at GDC. Yeah, and that's fine. That's fine. I'm just saying the question was being floated. Should they come to E3? And I'm with y'all. I'm with the presence of the chat right now. I don't know. Unless you're going to flip it on its head somehow, I don't know about it unless you do something like that. And Hip Hop said, oh, I'm a mod. Thank you. I love you. Hey, look, man. Love the support. I appreciate you. Thank you. So I've never been a mod. Only a record holder for being banned. Hey, look. I love contention. I love people with different points of view. I love diversity of thought. I'm not one of those entities that shy away from it, that likes to get on YouTube and play the clarinet and everything got to be wishy-washy and clean. No, you can bring the heat here. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate it. Follow me on my other channel, on MM2K, on MM2K videos on YouTube. You'll see. But I appreciate you. I appreciate the support. And Stadia says he absolutely agree. They did say we could get a bunch of games for the first half of the year. Also, base should be coming. Absolutely. And Stadia puts out an article that I'm going to pull up right here. Not letting me. Hold on. Copy it. Copy link location. Let's do this for a second. I don't know why I didn't. Oh, okay, from Stadia. Yeah, they can. Okay, all right, I got you. Yep, they confirmed their presence at GDC. Yep, and that's going to be cool. That's going to be cool. At least at last year's GDC, they're going to be there. I'm just saying, if they're going to go all the way, if they're going to go all to E3, they got to bring that heat. They got to bring that heat. Another thing that I think they should do, if they're going to come to E3, that's if, again, is they should introduce a rewards program. Again, this goes into you got some type of pricing model that's going to lure more people. If you're coming to E3, is to do big things, and a rewards program. And the way, in my opinion, the way that this rewards program should work is, there's a couple that they can roll out. The rewards program. Well, no, there's a couple that they can roll out. One, they can roll out a rewards program to pro members every time they buy a game. Every time they buy a game and for consecutive months that they're a pro member, you should get Google Play points or Google Play bucks. For every dollar that you spend should be equivalent to whatever it is, to where if you pay a $60 game, you get like $1 or $2 kickback. For every month that you're a Google Play, that you're a pro member, you get $5, right? Kickback. And for founders and early adopters, let me go back a little bit. And then the longer that you stay, the more that those kickbacks should increase. Maybe they start off $1 a game that you buy or $1 for every $60 that you spend. And maybe for every month that you're a pro member, you get back $2. But as you get more consistent, the longer that you're a pro member, you should go into a different tier. Where tier 1 is that, but tier 2 is it kicks up to $2, and maybe that you get back for every game, and maybe it's $3 every month, all the way up to where maybe it's $5. Maybe it's $3 for a game, $5 for every month that you're a member. And I think, or maybe even $10. And I think that founders and early adopters of Google Stadia should automatically start at the top tier. I think if you're a founder or if you're an early adopter, you should automatically promo at the top tier as a thank you for supplying you for basically participating in your paid beta. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind it. I love the platform. It's really, even though I prefer PC in a lot of ways, I got to be honest with you. I'm playing Stadia more than I'm playing PC right now. I just am. Because I love Borderlands 3 and I can play it at 60 frames per second. It's very mobile, and I don't like the Epic Game Store. That's what's killing me on Borderlands 3 and PC. I don't like Epic Game Store. That being said, that's what I think they could do. If they can offer a rewards program like that, again, different tiers, and that's similar to what GameFly is doing. Those of you that are familiar with GameFly, the more consecutive months that you're part of GameFly, you go into different tiers of rewards. And that's what I think Google Stadia should do. Gives you kickback for every game that you buy, give you kickback for every month that you're a consistent member, and then, as you're consistent pro member, throw you into a tier. That'll be great. And then founders and early adopters should get that at the beginning. And I think that should be something that they start doing no later than July 1st. And if you're going to make an announcement of that, make it at GDC, or that's an announcement I think worthy of a presence at E3 just on the stage room floor. Also, what they could do if they really want to shake up the game is introduce a service-based model. And they could do 3 things with this service-based model. Service-based model 1 could be a Game Pass model, which I'm going to be honest with you, they don't have the content to justify Game Pass right now. And right now, you don't need the negative press to have a Game Pass that's light, a model that's light in comparison to the other Game Pass that's going to be superior just for the time that they've had on the floor. Like, I don't think a Game Pass model exactly should be something that you entertain in 2020. I think it's something that you can maybe announce and then say it's something that we're going to work on, going into next year as their inventory grows. But then another thing is, as far as you already have a subscription-based model that you're partnered with, which is Uplay Plus, which is a fantastic service. Right now, Uplay Plus is $15. If you are Stadia, if you're on Stadia, then Uplay Plus should be $10. And if you're a pro member, it should be $5. Something in that realm. I ain't gotta actually, be exactly that, but I'm just throwing out some ideas. There should be discounts for being on Stadia and having Uplay Plus. That's already a fantastic game service. I love it. And the last sub-service that they should have is a model similar to GameFly. GameFly has a model. Now, for those of you that are not familiar with GameFly, you pay X amount of dollars to get continuous access to so many games a month. I think it's time. Now, they tried to bring that to digital form, but it didn't work. I think it's time for Google can make that work, because they already got the platform there. I think for, just like GameFly, something but cheaper than GameFly, for $10 a month, $20 a month, $30 a month, you get access to so many games. So I would say, to be a pro member, along with, let's see it like this. If I'm a pro member and I want to get into Google's Game Pass type model or a gameplay type, GameFly, I'm sorry. If I want to participate in a GameFly type model for an extra $5 a month, I should be able to put one game in my hub and play that game continuously. And I can swap games once a week. I think that's fair. I can swap out a game once a week. You know what I mean? But I get continuous access to one particular game that I can swap out once a week for $5. 2 games, 10 for an extra $10. 3 games, 15. And I would just cap it at 3 games for now. So 10 plus 15, which is $25 a month, I can get access to 3 games that I can play on the go. That's cheaper to Game Pass now, because if you want access to 3 games for Game Pass, I think it's $32. So for $25, I get access to 3 games. I can swap any of those games out once a week. So, you know, because if you just let them swap out whatever game they want, then you're giving them the whole library. You know what I'm saying? Then you're going into the Game Pass model. You know what I'm saying? But I think that's something they can look into too. So unless you have like something that's going to change the game, like either the demo idea that I just gave, where you give people access to passes, where they can like digitally interact, you know, with E3, with your presence at E3, unless you got a rewards program to announce, or unless you got some type of service-based model like a Game Pass model that you're going to announce, even whether it's going to be active or not, a discount on Uplay or a GameFly type of model, unless you got something in that realm, then don't come to E3. Don't even come to E3. Don't show up at E3. Don't even do it. But I want to get the chat's thoughts on this. Let me see here. Asher says, he said, me confront the haters, let them talk. Yeah, true. Me, more free Google Stadia. Stadia USA. What's up, Stadia USA? Hey, great content. Guess what? I'm making everybody mods today. You're a mod. Hippie Hoppy Club says, I stopped playing PlayStation 4 PC. Yep, Stadia's my new girlfriend. Jeremy Peterson. Hey, Stadia peeps, what's going on? And Charles Aran says, I see Stadia displays. I could also see Stadia displays. I think Google will have all the games that have been pro games available. You all pro members when a base drops. Yo, yeah, I'm staying the pro. Because, and another thing that I would love to see is I love the fact that they're going to introduce 4K via the browser, but I would love to see a 1440p mode. I would love to see a 1440p mode, because what they do right now is they got this 4K 60 or 4K 30. A lot of their 4K games are 30 frames per second, and I don't like that. I'd rather have 1440p 60. So if they can make that happen, that'd be fantastic. Thank you, Stadia USA. I appreciate you, brother. We're going to get together, man. I know we've been talking in the DMs. We're definitely going to get together. A lot of things going on. Hey, look, for those of you that don't know, I'm part of the Broadband Bullies, PNTS Network, Hard Knock Digital Culture, and now the Stadia Dosage. And opposite the Broadband Bullies and PNTS Network, I run all those other 2 platforms by myself, and I do a lot of technical work behind the scenes for all of those platforms. So, you know, very filled schedule. You know, but definitely, I love to do partnerships, and that's what I want to do on this platform. I want this platform to be just that, a platform for everybody in relation to Stadia. All right, we're about to wind this down. I want to talk to Cyberpunk 2077 delay, right? Real quick. Cyberpunk 2077 has been delayed to September 14th. And that's a bummer. Because I was, all my gaming was scheduled around Cyberpunk 2077. And I thought that was a perfect time to really enjoy the game without the fray of the holiday season, right? But and then I thought in relation to Stadia, I thought it was going to be a great opportunity for them to, again, either drop the price of the game on the store, or to at least say, you know what, we have, if you buy Cyberpunk 2077, you're going to get $20 back if you're a base member, and for the pro members, you're going to get 30 Google points back. You know what I'm saying? And they can still do that during the holiday season, because there's going to be a slew of games that are coming around the holidays that people can use that $30 for and really appreciate. So, but it's just a bummer, because it really could have jump-started the platform. But it'll jump-start it in September. September's still a good time too, because that gives them more time to implement some things on the Stadia front, like the live streaming, the the YouTube integration, whatever they plan on doing. It gives them more It gives them more time to implement something. Something just happened on screen that I can't see. That's where that sound came from. Something just happened and I just missed it. Now, but I appreciate it. I think it's some type of notification. So it gives them that opportunity to do that and then implement these points kickback with Cyberpunk 2077, right? So I think that'll be great, but it sucks that it's being pushed back. And then there's this rumor, right? That rumor. Let me go back to the Broadband Bullies website. If I can find it. xCloud versus Stadia. Yeah. And here, let's go. Let's do this. Let's go to gaming. Oh, no, let me go home. I think I wrote this article. I sure did. There it goes. Cyberpunk 2077. And let's go to the Broadband Bully site. Y'all, I'm telling you everything. Breaking news. Polish insider says the Xbox One not powerful enough to run games properly. And then the article reads, Polish game insider Boris Nispolik has just dropped the bombshell allegation. This news comes to us via AltChair. Nispolik claims via his source the Xbox One and quite possibly current-gen consoles altogether are behind the delay of Cyberpunk 2077. CB 2077 is the most anticipated game, most anticipated games of 2020. Per the article, this is a quote, says the original Xbox One is not powerful enough to run the game properly, and apparently Cyberpunk 2077 performance on the console is extremely unsatisfactory. So let me just say it like this, because I had a lot of haters, a lot of Xbox fans that came to me and said, "You're not telling the whole truth, MM2K. You're not telling the truth because he mentioned the consoles altogether." But the point of the article was to show that, again, the adoption of older hardware is what hampers newer hardware. And this guy was particularly staunch on pointing out the Xbox One's problems with it, the original Xbox One. And they have a marketing deal with Xbox. So they definitely can't get this game out, it being faulty on Xbox. Oh, no. But see, now we all suffer because of what? Hardware. And particularly Xbox, if this rumor is true. And that's why I think this cements something that I said earlier that people laughed at me for. But this cements that I think that the Stadia model, the Stadia version, is going to be the best version to have, particularly if it releases day and date. Here's why I say that. The console bottleneck is paramount. They talk about it in this article. You know what I'm saying? And then because the console owner has a marketing deal, if this rumor is true, we all got to suffer now. A lot of people's plans were hinged upon playing Cyberpunk 2077 during the spring. Now we got to wait to the crowded holiday season. Now everybody's coming out in September. Right? Come on. And then this is really going to raise eyebrows. I think that all around for the average consumer, it's going to be better to have than the PC version, as long as it releases their data. I know. Hold on. Just hold on. Relax. Stop sharpening your pitchforks. Relax. Here's why I say that. Even though we know that if you got a powerful rig, there is going to be no comparison on what you can do on Cyberpunk 2077 as far as frames and fidelity, if, on PC. But that's just it. People are now selling blood marrow, going to the blood banks, going to swap meets and selling their couches to upgrade their processors, to get new video cards, to handle Cyberpunk 2077, to get at least 60 frames. At least, because we know that when CD Projekt Red games release, even though they perform best on PC, they're still horribly optimized. Bug ridden. Now, maybe with this delay, they're going to address that, but CD Projekt Red games are always delayed. Witcher 3 was delayed like this. That's why everybody had predicted and rightfully said that this was going to get delayed. This is just how they operate. And people don't mind it, and they excuse it because it's CD Projekt Red, and the final product always eventually is a banger. But just think about it, y'all. People are trying to optimize their 60 frames per second, and just because of how Stadia is built, it's already going to be there. I ain't got to download no codecs or no bodecs or no drivers, flivers. I ain't got to uninstall. I ain't got to worry about is it installed on my SSD. It's already going to be there. And I ain't got to worry about prior versions of Stadia messing up this version. It's already going to be there. And again, for a fraction of the price, a new video card to run this at 60 frames is going to be $600-$700. A new process that's going to be up to par is going to be an additional $300. We talking about $900 at least. That's if you got to make the upgrade. Then the 3000 series is going to be out, and this game may be optimized for the 3000 series. So you might need the 3000 series in order to get them 60 frames per second. That's the 3000 series is coming in June. It could be none of this that you see on the screen, and that could have been the reasoning. But guess what? You get them 60 frames that you know you're not getting on console. You're going to get them 60 frames. You know you can't get on PC unless you drop that cash. You're going to get them 60 frames for $130, even on the base version. Even on the base version. So that's why I say that this right here helps further cement the fact that Cyberpunk 2077, my mind right now, for what we know, again, it's not. I'm not etching this in stone. I'm not saying this is my final call, but I'm feeling right now that the best version to get is going to be on Stadia. Then you get to play. Then on top of all that, Stadia by far is going to be the best place to play Cyberpunk 2077 on the go. It's better than NVIDIA. It's better than Shadowblade. We already know Project xCloud is running off the power of a couple of paper clips and a green bean tin can. We've already seen it. Do I gotta roll the beautiful beam footage again? No, let's not embarrass them any further. So the best place to play Cyberpunk 2077 on the go is going to be on Stadia. It's going to be the definitive version. And if Google takes advantage of this properly, they can go far. Thoughts on that. But before I go any further, let me go to the chat before we get to the last segment. Stadia USA says cloud gaming on Cyberpunk 2077 best every version, and I don't do, and Doom Eternal too. Yeah. Very well likely. Very well likely. So with that being said, before we close out, because are we at the 2 hour mark already? I think we are. Oh yeah, damn, we killed the 2 hour mark. That's why Muggs is leaving. One last thing, y'all, before we go. Damn, I can talk, can't I? Can't I? One last thing before I go, though, y'all, is where's that? No, that's not it. Oh, here it goes. I'm doing something new called highlights. Okay. I want to do a highlight of this company. They're called Computers and Trees, and they're on Reddit. And I'm trying to find, is there a way to send message? Go to Computers and Trees on Reddit, because if you're looking for, no, this is all I get. If you're looking for the Claw, which is a fantastic peripheral idea that was implemented by Google, and it proves that they do have some people that are doing that are pulling up their sleeves and doing some serious work. The Claw is better than the clasp that's being offered by everybody else when it comes to gaming on the phone. It puts the device directly over the joystick, and it makes it a lot easier and better to see that way. And you know what I'm saying? It's so much better. I use the Claw format for everything, even when I'm playing xCloud, right? That being said, the Claw is sold out right now. From what I understand, I could be wrong. But my friends at Computers and Trees on Reddit, message them. They make Claw replicas. I got one. When the original Claw was recalled because it was messing up your joystick, I discovered them on the Stadia Reddit, and they sent me a Claw, and I've been loving it ever since, man. It's the best thing ever. So, and I can't remember what it was at the time, but definitely it was nowhere near as expensive as what Stadia is offering for the Claw. So and then two, it has an ingenious design to it, to where you kind of like clasp it, opposed to how it was snapping onto your controller and messing it up, like the old Claw was. Now they redid them, so they're probably fit. But if you can't get access to the old Claws or get access to the direct Claws, then I highly suggest contacting my friends at Computers and Trees and getting them to do a Claw, to make you one and send you one. Great product. I use mine all the time. I was actually, but I didn't use it when I was doing the video, because I had it downstairs and I was too lazy to go get it. But definitely great peripherals. You guys definitely want to take advantage of that. And with that said, yep, 3D printer Claws. Yep. Oh, Hip Hop Hobby Club said you already scuffed your stay. Oh man. Sorry to hear that, brother. With that said, that is it from your boy MM2K. I want to thank everybody that came out here for this long-winded but fantastic show. Hip Hop Hobby Club, my homie Stadia USA, Charles Aran, Jeremy Peterson, thank you. Stadian. Who else we got out here? Bibbidi Bop. Hey, Bibbidi Bop was here. Oh, Bibbidi Bop. What's going on, brother? He said Verizon has 5G internet and some cities too now, I think. Yes, they do. Sean Livingston. He said, Geek Squad don't know nothing, son. I didn't know at the time, brother. But when I came back and chucked that broken VGA peripheral at him, it finally hit me. Bang House Production. What's up, Bang House? What's going on, brother? I ain't forget about you. We still got to get together. Chariot Man Gaming said, tell him MM2K. I appreciate you, brother. Mark says, I love this guy. Good job. Hey, man. Hey, look, man. I'm an acquired taste, so I can appreciate you if you're loving the content. And the Guinness says, only need much more game. Exactly. No denying that. There's no getting around that. Anybody that says that the level of games that they have right now will suffice ain't being honest. And that's coming from somebody that I'm playing nothing but Borderlands. If the Stadia wasn't around, I'd be playing the same games that are available on Stadia. Borderlands and Ghost Recon Breakpoint until Cyberpunk 2077 came out. And then on top of that, I was introduced to Darksiders Genesis, which is also a great game. You know what I'm saying? But I would have never played that on PC. I would have ever looked at. Because I'm not a fan of, I haven't really played the Darksiders games. But being that it was available on Stadia, and Stadia was, had a limited library, I picked up the game, said, what the heck, and now I love it. And big up to 706 Gamer. And that is it. And Churnt Man Gaming. This is what's going on Stadia Dosage. I appreciate all of y'all straight up. I thank y'all so much. Thank you for coming through another fantastic show. We will be back with another Stadia. Well, I got 2 videos. I got a session 2 that I ran at 720p. I felt bad. I'm not going to lie to y'all before I close out. Let me say this. I felt bad that xCloud looked so lousy. So what did I do? I lowered the resolution to 720p to match the output that xCloud omits at on the phone. But you could still see the difference. That video is coming out tomorrow. And I do think I have a video coming out scheduled for Sunday. I'm not sure. I think I got something coming. But follow us at Stadia Dosage. Go to youtube.com/C/Stadia Dosage. Now that we got 100 followers, now we got our own URL. Go to Stadia Dosage there on YouTube. Go to pntsnetwork.com/Stadia Dosage. Check out our blog. You can check out my material on Broadband Bullies. Go to Stadia Dosage on Facebook. Everywhere. We're everywhere. And with that said, I want to thank everybody for coming. And you all have a wonderful, wonderful gaming day. Peace.